In a relationship, it usually is the woman who wants to stop having sex. Then the relationship starts to go downhill. How do you stop that? I love this one. I mean, this is obviously one person's perspective. I think that he probably has a lot of truth to that. It's what his experience has been. And I would say what comes to mind is women need to be heard. And men oftentimes don't have the patience to listen because we talk about lots of shades of gray. We talk about this a lot of times on this show. And when women start to feel like they're not being heard, they start to feel like they're not being seen. And when they're not being seen, they don't feel validated in the relationship. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but oftentimes women do stop providing their bodies and their soul and their love through sex because they know it's like the one thing that's going to like really get the guy. And so women need to be a little bit more conscious about how they're leveraging, this sex component in their relationship, because the reality is that you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage to have this beautiful shared connection of souls. And so why would you allow a man to be in your bed ready to go and not, I don't want to say service him, but I mean like share your soul with him? Because that's just a really immature way and perspective if we're just going to like close our hearts and close our minds and just say, yeah, I'm just not going to give it up. And I know it doesn't happen quite like that. It's like a buildup and a buildup of, oh, he didn't hear me here. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. And then that drive starts to just go away, that drive for union. And so I'm going to give the insights that I know you already know, but sometimes it's hard to implement. And it's one word. It's communication. So the woman has to communicate and the man has to communicate. Honey, I need something more from you. Like I want to connect with you. But if men can say it in a way that makes women really feel seen and heard, that it's not just about sex. It's not just about like, hey, I'm ready to go. And you walk up to them and you like make out with them, or, you push yourself on them to like show them that you're ready. Like that stuff doesn't often work. It can work. But if you're in a little bit of disparity and you're like really disconnected, that woman needs to feel a deeper connection with you. She needs to feel that you care so much about her, that you want to listen to her and you want to listen to her feelings and you want to feel seen and heard and validated. And I bet you're going to see your relationships change dramatically, but you have to come into it listening with a whole heart, meaning you kind of have to be ready to listen for a long time. And the better you get at this, the shorter those sessions will be, because it's just innate within women a lot of times that we just pull our men through the ringer to get them to listen, because it's like our way of feeling that they care about us. So women, we have to be a little bit more conscientious about how many times the man is coming forward, is listening to us, is validating our feelings. And when we're getting a little bit like off kilter with wanting to be heard, right? When we're getting a little bit into those ridiculous areas of, dare I say, nonsense. So, all right. And sometimes that's where a girlfriend is kind of a nice launch pad. I'm not saying go and talk to your girlfriends about everything. I think it's important to keep it in the relationship, but I'm just saying sometimes we need to have some of that ongoing conversation that a girlfriend's great to do, but not when it comes to something specific to your relationship. That has to stay within the actual relationship itself so that you can work through it. Otherwise, the man gets blindsided and you've built, years of information on him that you don't like that he did, and he has no clue that he's done any of those things most of the time. Okay. I would love to hear in the future, if I don't know where you're at in your relationship right now, but if you come back on the show, let us know how this goes. Let us know if you've seen a difference in your life and a difference in how the women that you're dating respond to you, and whether that goes downhill or not, or maybe you're in a long-term relationship. Either way, let us know. I look forward to hearing more about that. And if there's more I can answer, please submit it in the questions, and I'll be happy to pick it up again next week. All right, we are down to the wire. We've got some additional questions that we didn't get to today. I will put them on the list in top queue for next week. Please tune in. And If you haven't already, please do the State of the Heart assessment. It's so much fun. You'll find out if your heart is blocked, broken, healing, or whole. And it just gets you, deeper reflecting into like, hey, like what's really heavy on my heart? Like what's the state of my heart? And you also get some tips, tools, techniques to help you with your spiritual toolbox. And if you want something more, of course, you can always read the book Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics. And if you want something more, you can get the Awakening and Healing Handbook. It's on bethbell.me. There's lots of tips, tools, modalities in there as well. And there's the psychedelic resource guide. So if anything I've said about ayahuasca might start to tap some curiosity and interest, please go to bethbell.me. The psychedelics resource guide is really a great guide to help you explore whether or not this is the right option and how to go about it. And then, of course, we have the herpes handbook. So that's also on bethbell.me. I can't wait to see you next week. Please submit your questions, bethbell.me/question. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, wishing you much bliss and love on the journey. Namaste.